question is that this House has considered paid miscarriage leave. David Linden.
Thank you very much. Ms Cummins, it is a great pleasure to serve under your chairmanship, and in particular I want to thank and congratulate my honourable friend, the member for Lanark and Hamilton East, not only for securing today's debate, but for the power of work that she's done on this issue, and like many others I support the private members bill that she's trying to pilot through the House. I had a very difficult situation only last week where I met with a constituent of mine, Gillian McClellan. She and her husband, Christopher, unfortunately experienced the loss of their baby, Daisy. Thursday past would have been Daisy's due date. And there are just three very brief points that I want to raise whilst we have the floor and we can discuss the wider issue of miscarriage and indeed bereavement leave. Firstly, there are many great charities out there. Baby Loss Retreat would be one in particular who've been doing stellar work to support Gillian and Christopher, but I sometimes question why it is that it falls to charities so often to kind of be in place to provide support to people in that. That also follows on quite neatly on the issue of counselling. There is clearly, and I've seen this and looked at it across the UK, not just in Scotland but right across these islands, there is clearly a postcode lottery that exists when it comes to counselling for parents. I accept that during the pandemic some things were done by Zoom, but the lack of support that Gillian and many other families have received, particularly over the last couple of years, is something that I think we will have to look at. There is a wider and perhaps more sensitive issue around about certification. I understand that you can get into a very difficult debate when it comes to issuing birth certificates and things. In Daisy's case, that would have been 17 weeks. But that then follows on to, for example, things not being recorded in NHS notes, which is particularly problematic if there's a follow-up pregnancy. So I think that is something that ministers, indeed right across these islands, have to reflect on. And the final thing that I want to say relates to the employment bill. The minister, who I've always found to be incredibly thoughtful, and he and I have had a lot of dialogue, particularly on the issue of neonatal leave and pay. But I really want to see that employment bill come forward as quickly as possible. This is going to be one of the biggest issues that I think our generation of MPs will legislate on. And it strikes me that the employment bill, yes, there are elements of it, no doubt, as a result of Brexit that will be controversial. But in the issue of bereavement leave and the issue of neonatal leave and pay, I just would again issue a plea to the Minister that these issues be decoupled from the employment bill. There are some of these issues that, frankly, there is such a high level of cross-party support in the House that we could pilot that through in a day, as we did last night with certain legislation. So let's decouple some of the less controversial aspects of the employment bill and make sure that my honourable friend from Lanark and Hamilton East, commendable as her bill is, doesn't have to come forward. That we actually want the government to come forward with a decoupled bill that would tackle this and so many other issues in which there is vast cross-party agreement in this House.
Well done, David.